man, and they get in their feelings. Let me just keep it real. People get in their feelings, and when you get to talking about them, and there's a whole bunch of things and collusions, and when you got pros that come out, let me play this. Let me play the slots first. Let me get the slots opened up first to play these audios, and then I'll go ahead and I'll add my commentary afterwards. All right, let me get that pulled up, man, because it's not that easy to work this, especially when you're trying to do this all by yourself, bro. Like you need producers to really run this stuff, but trying. All right, where the window at, bro? Why it should be up there? Why isn't that up there? Something ain't right. That's StreamYard OBS camera. Why isn't that up? That's not cool. So window. Um, damn. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to hear it or not. So somebody in the chat gonna have to let me know if y'all can hear it or see it, because I think I gotta have it on. I have to have it pulled up for it to work, but for some reason it's not even popping up on my StreamYard right now. Oh, okay. Okay, there it is. I got it now. That's it. All right. So I got that pulled up now. So that's cool. All right. Got it pulled up. All right. That's cool. That's good right there. Wonder how everybody been up out there, man. Just me just cooling. I ain't even put it in the Discord or nothing. So yeah, we'll roll with these questions first. I'll play the first video. I'll roll through Shedeur's comments on Dylan. Then I'll get up into all the other stuff. So this is pretty much what Shedeur Sanders had to say about the whole Dylan, the Dylan comment. So we'll play that first, and then we'll just get into everything else afterwards. All right, in the order. All right.
After that, in that preseason game last week, Dylan was interviewed, and he talked about the difference between entertainers and competitors. He called himself a competitor. Some people have construed that as a shot at you. How did you take that?
Honestly, I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, it can't do anything to me. I know, the God put the ability and the power within me to not even think about nobody else comments, not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He said, "Nah, bro, that wasn't." He said that wasn't. He told me on the plane. He came up. He was like, "Nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. I don't. Nobody's words or anything affects me. So yeah.
So did you believe him when he told you it wasn't on you?
Did I believe him?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now.
No.
I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean,
So that's just pretty much that. Just deaded the whole Dylan comments. It wasn't nothing. Like I said, I didn't think it was like that when I had made a video about it. Um, people got a couple comments on it. Some people said didn't make any sense on it or whatever else. But like I said, he didn't mean it like that. It ain't like that. They got a good quarterback competition going on. He confirmed it. It's no big deal to him. He don't care about it. Why do anybody else care about it? Leave it at that. Next, this is just him just saying, like, I don't know if he's throwing hints. Is this a hint or what? Like, just listen.
and then my guys in the locker room, that we all may never play on the same team again, and that's just the truth behind it. So I did everything in my power, to get out there and be ready for this week, one last time with this group.
How was that?
It's feeling good. Yeah, everything's good in life.
All right, so
Oh,
I don't know if he throwing hints out there like, hey, yo, I might not like. He's preparing, like, obviously he's preparing himself for whatever may happen, right? Now, this is the Browns. They do sloppy things. Let's call it what it is. Even a lot of those fans will say that. They may keep 4 quarterbacks, but he's like a little bit prepared. And if you caught the end, he's kind of caught himself. Like, I'm prepared to be moving on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This could be our last time. He just kind of letting everybody know, like, it could be the last time I could be here. It might not be here. So I don't understand why a lot of the fans get misconstrued and He's telling you these things. And this is why I put these clips together, because he's telling you these things. But people's not listening. Now, this is Shedeur and his reps. This is Shedeur and his reps.
Oh, honestly, bro, I really don't look into that. I don't care. Whenever it's time for me to get out there and play, I'm going to play. Whenever it's time for the lights to come on, I'm going to do my thing. I'm not concerned about when it is. I'm not concerned about, you know, how many reps I'm getting at this point is what it is. Because I know when the lights come on, when everything go on, when the pressure's on, you know who I am. And I'm always be that way.
Period, point blank. Period. I have no problem with what he just said. I ain't got no problem with what Shedeur just said. I think he kept it real. I don't care about how many reps I'm getting. You know what I mean? Because I know when I do get my reps and I do go out there and I play, I'ma shine. I'ma do my thing. When my number get called, however long it takes, I'm gonna play my part, and I'm gonna take my time, do what I need to do, and go out there and shine when my number get called. But for some reason, you got people out here just talking crazy. But I'm not done. I'm not done with the videos. Hold up, I'm not done. We got more. This is Shedeur telling you. He was asked, what's the things he learned? What's the things that he can get better with throughout this preseason? That's the question he was asked, just in case you didn't hear the question.
I would say I learned life in a different perspective, you know, and that's why I come here. I'm happy. I always got good energy because, you know, I'm blessed to come out here every day. Regardless of the situation, regardless of anything, you know, I know my time, whenever that is, I'll be ready for it and I'm going to embrace that. But in due time, you know, I got many things I need to fix, many things I need to work on, and I'm not oblivious to that. So all I look at it as I'm getting more time to cook. I'm getting more time to warm up. You know, that's all.
Now, he's literally telling people, we not listening. He's telling you out of his own mouth, I am not oblivious to the things that I need to learn with in the NFL. He's not oblivious to it. So why is everybody else out there oblivious to the fact that he's sitting there telling you that he has to learn these things? Let me calm down, because I think people take me wrong when I start raising my voice a little bit. Shedeur Sanders is telling us that he's not oblivious to the things that he needs to learn, but he's just looking at this situation like, look, it's cool. I'm learning the recipes. I'm learning the recipe. I'm writing down these recipes. I'm gonna keep, you know what I'm saying, cooking these recipes over and over and over. Because when it's my time to lead the kitchen and it's my time to be the head chef of the kitchen, I'm cooking. And then they're gonna be my line cooks. That's all he's saying. And he's telling everybody this, but for some reason, everybody wants to rush and put Shedeur Sanders to the front. But he's telling you he has to learn, and he's not oblivious to this. By the way, shout out to Alpha Roo, and other things, right? Shout out to Alpha Roo, because he has said something about the plays that Shedeur was running, the plays that Dylan Gabriel ran, and I went back and I looked at the film. Now, I'm not a professional looking at it, but it seems like he had repetitive. He did all what he did in the Panthers game against the basic defense with probably only, I think it was like 9 plays. I seen 9 plays. Now, if y'all seen 10, you tell me where you seen 10 at. But I saw 9 plays, and those 9 plays, you could say a lot of that was the same formations, but it was only 9 plays that he was just cooking with the whole time, because he has a lot to learn. Now, chopping all that up and all that, no, I don't get enough views and enough likes to be sitting around chopping up video of Shedeur Sanders plays and pointing them out to y'all. Y'all can go look at them for yourself, because I'm not doing that. Because y'all come to here, y'all don't even hit the like button on me. Y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't get in the comments, don't say nothing. It just seems like that. So I'm not going to sit here and chop up Shedeur Sanders' film and point that out, because he's telling us that he's not oblivious to the things he needs to learn. Then what Dylan Gabriel ran, to be honest, he had more control of the playbook. Why? How do we know that? Because there was a lot more motion in his plays. There was a lot going on. Watch just you gotta watch the film and you gotta learn how to watch the film. Now I've been taking my time out here for 2 years, really trying to learn these things because I understand that I'm a truck driver. I understand that I'm not a professional sports analyst. So I have to be respected in this. I have to look at things and I have to learn certain things. And I have no problem with learning, and I have no problem with saying I don't know these things, but looking at it, yes, the playbook is opened up to Dylan Gabriel. And Shedeur Sanders has a lot to learn with it, but he knows that and he's telling you that. But moving on, we'll go back. And I really like what Shedeur Sanders said here. I really, really like what Shedeur Sanders said here in this video, and I wanted to bring some light to this because I think it's dope anytime that they giving back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm very excited. I want to do, and I didn't even say this, but I want to get I want to find a way to get a lot of the high schools free tickets, a lot of the kids, middle schools, everybody free tickets to come to the game. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I don't know anything. I didn't talk to anybody about this, but like I just always had like this good thought. I'm like, dang, that'd be cool to do. But I didn't talk to anybody about that yet, so I hope I don't.
That's dope.
But I think it's gonna be fun.
Now I get it. A lot of players do this, right? A lot of players do this, but I think people who got the bread to do that, now they danged if they do and they danged if they don't, right? Because when they do put stuff out there and show that they're going to homeless kitchens and feeding the homeless and stuff like that, people say, "Oh, well, you're clout chasing. You're doing this for the clicks and likes." And but I think showing that shows a side of you, and I think you should do that regardless in my eyes, because I don't look at it like, oh, you clout chasing. I look at it as you bringing light and showing people that, look, it don't take much to give back to your community. And I think that's super dope what Shedeur Sanders do. Now, wherever he's at on the football field, that's different. But for what he's and like I told y'all this before, what he's done for the Cleveland area and those kids living in those poverty driven areas is huge. They love Shedeur Sanders. He went there, actually, talked to them, brought snow cones, everything, and he's still trying to give back and trying to get the high schools and middle schools tickets to go to games. They'll probably never be able to afford to go to a game. I lived in Pittsburgh, PA, up until I was 14 years old, and I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia. I'd never been in the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium. I'm a Pittsburgh hard fan. I ain't never been till I was an adult. My wife took me for the first time to a game because you just can't afford it. Those are things you can't afford. You watch them on TV. You can't afford to go to the game because your mom's working 2 jobs, so forth and so on. And I just think it's dope. And I wanted to bring that to the light, despite with anything else that I'm gonna talk about. Because look, when you're doing good, when you're doing things like this, I'm gonna highlight that, but I'm also gonna keep it real because that's what I'm out here to do. All right. Now that's just what it is. Now moving on. Chris Carter had made these comments. He took a lot of flack for this before, but I'm going to play this just in case y'all forgot because Chris Carter took a lot of flack for this. But go ahead, I'm going to play the slot.
Well, a number of things happened. The number one thing that didn't happen was there was not a collusion message with the NFL owners.
Okay. What? Okay. A lot of people think that.
Because they wouldn't be able to keep a secret like that. And
so they might do it, but they couldn't shut up about it.
They wouldn't be able to shut up about it. But every owner is very, very selfish. Now, why would I do something to my detriment? Like if I need a quarterback and I think this kid is it, what he didn't realize is the guys that have fallen in the draft before, they all had unusual traits. Like they had some superstar qualities to them. Now, some other things happened that made them fall, but Shedeur and his family, they overplayed their hand.
Because we like so crazy.
That's just it. That's just it. I mean, look, he came out and he so let's get this straight. And that's just what Chris Carter said. I want to play y'all these slots. I kind of do want to talk about each little video, but so you mean to tell me that no, well, I'll play it after I get done with this. I'll go play it because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to say that But I agree with Chris Carter. I think they overplayed their hand, but we'll get into that.
Because we like truth and we like to get to the bottom of things. Shedeur Sanders' future in Cleveland. How does that look to y'all? What does everybody think is going to happen to Shedeur Sanders? Is he going to end up being the starting quarterback? Are they going to give him a fair chance, or are they going to continue to play him around, play around him, you know? Now, everybody understands, and it's no secret, the Browns named Joe Flacco the starting quarterback. And what is so crazy about that to me is head coach Kevin Stefanski said Kenny Pickett had a legit chance to start. He named Joe Flacco the quarterback. And during that press conference, he said Kenny Pickett had a legit chance to start. And I was so confused about that comment. Because where does that fit into this whole equation? What did Kenny Pickett show that he's able to be a starter for the Cleveland Browns?
So I'm gonna get up into that, and before I play this Eric Dickerson comments that a lot of people have been waiting to hear Eric Dickerson come out, and then I'll speak on that. But what Kenny Pickett has showed is that now, regardless if we liked him in Pittsburgh or not, I think we didn't like Kenny Pickett because he was just he was noodle arming things. We got so spoiled with Ben Roethlisberger, we were not willing to give a quarterback time. I'm just being honest. I'm gonna be honest with it. We got so spoiled with having a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, so tough. Ben Roethlisberger had gotten a motorcycle accident, I believe, and could have died in it, had bone reconstruction surgery, all kinds of things, still came back and played that following season. Lost a lot of his mobility after that accident. But that's how tough Ben Roethlisberger was, despite of all the off the field stuff that he went through. But we were spoiled with that as Pittsburgh Steelers fans. So when Kenny Pickett came in, he was supposed to be the second coming and everything else. We were not willing to give Kenny Pickett time at all, right? We just weren't. And I'm just being honest with you, we just wasn't. But when you look at the stats of Kenny Pickett and what Kenny Pickett has done in this league, he's really not that bad. He's been in this league. He's proved himself in this league. He just came from a Super Bowl team. He was the backup for arguably, people disrespect Jalen Hurts and what Jalen Hurts is capable of, but he was the backup out there in Philly. He backed up a quarterback who won a Super Bowl. That has to stop. And I'm supposed to be the person that's not supposed to know some of these things, right? I'm a fan of the game of football. I'm a truck driver by trade. That's what I do during the day. At night, I talk sports on the mic. But you got people like Asante Samuel out there saying, what has Kenny Pickett done? And then you got the casual fans feeding into that crap like that. But people want us to hold us accountable and say, we're just nobody. But listen, but that's somebody. Arguably one of the best cornerbacks in the league that we've possibly seen, right? Over 50 interceptions. And he's sitting here saying, what has Kenny Pickett done? So let's see what Kenny Pickett has done in the league. Let's not talk about what Kenny Pickett's done in the league. Let's look at Kenny Pickett's actual stats. Okay. Let me get that pulled. Give me a second here, y'all, to get the Kenny Pickett stats pulled up before we go to get into these Eric Dickerson comments, right? So let's go ahead and let's get those pulled up. Okay, so we'll look at Kenny Pickett's career. So I'm typing Kenny Pickett's name in now on my keyboard. That's what I'm doing now. And that's okay. So Kenny Pickett. So we're going to look at the stats. Okay, we'll look at his stats. And we'll go back and look at his stats. And we're not talking from last year. We'll talk all of his stats. This is what he done in the NFL. I also want y'all to pay attention to his winning percentage, not just some things. We got to look at all of the things. How many wins Kenny Pickett has, everything he got. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at that. I appreciate you, DC Carson. I appreciate you. All right, so we'll look at that. All right, let me get that pulled up real quick, y'all. Give me a second. I had a I don't know why it's not letting. Okay, because I gotta stop. No, I don't want to. Okay, yeah, I gotta stop that. We'll go back. We'll get back to the I'll get back to the Eric Dickerson comments. I'll play the audio, and then I'll give my commentary on the Eric Dickerson comments after that, right? after this. So I want to get this Kenny Pickett pulled up, right? Kenny Pickett, y'all know 6'3". That's what he's listed as. I think he's true 6'2", 220 pounds, whatever. So now we're going to go into his stats and his value. Let's go to his stats, okay? In Pittsburgh. All right. So this is his career stats in Pittsburgh. I got to make that a little bit smaller for me. I think that's perfect for y'all, but it's too big for me, right? All right. So in his first season with Pittsburgh, he played 13 games. He had 245 completions out of 389 attempts. He has a 63% completion percentage. He threw for 2,404 yards, averaged 6.2 yards per catch, had 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had a long of 57. He was sacked 27 times, had a rating of 76.7, had a QBR 53.6. But I think a lot of that had to do with the sacks. Now, not going to sit there and put all that on Kenny Pickett. We had some problems there, but it is what it is, right? That's when you're looking at that. So let's click on that. Now I want to see how many wins he had that season. And how do we look that season? I got to get it pulled up here. So work with me, y'all. Just stay with me now, because we ain't going nowhere. I want to get it pulled up. So maybe I got to click on it. Let's click on the 2022 season, see if that works. All right. Okay. So he comes out Jacksonville. That's preseason. So we want to go to the, why is it not showing up like I want it to? We got to show up. So maybe I got to go into the reference to look at his win percentage and everything, because we weren't bad in those years. We weren't horrible. That's, y'all know this. Just the Steelers. You could blame it on the offense. You could blame it on the defense. So let's look at Kenny Pickett's 2023 stats, right? He played 12 of those games. 12. He had 201 completions, 324 attempts, had completed 62% of his passes, threw for 2,070 yards. He averaged 6.4 yards per throw. He had 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Now, he was a rookie in 2022. This is only his second year in the NFL at this point in time. He got sacked 23 times, had a rating of 81.4, had a QBR 39.8. Now, the picks, touchdown ratio has a lot to do with your QBR, whatever. He's proven in this league. He's been proven in this league. That's really what it boils down to with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has proven in this league what he actually can do, right? QB2 in Philly, right? So when you look at his career stats, he had 15 wins, 10 losses, still winning, 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 4,800 yards. Mind you, he only played 3 years, 4,800 yards in 3 years, 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions in 3 years. In 3 years, 15 wins and 10 losses. Right. And technically, he has a Super Bowl ring. Technically, right? He's proven. So this is what he's done in the league, regardless of what Asante Samuel wants to say, Shannon Sharp wants to say, or what anybody out there got to say about Kenny Pickett. He's a proven commodity in this league. So when we go to saying, and when you got fans out there saying, oh, we got to carry 4 quarterbacks, or if they don't, the odd man out is Kenny Pickett. How and why would you? How? Well, even if Joe Flacco goes down, you want to throw a rookie in there. Well, they're not going to win anyway. Oh, well. That's not what Stefanski is worried about. That's not what Andrew Berry is worried about. It's all about dubs. Do you think Myles Garrett? Do you think Jerry Jeudy? Do you think? Hold up. What's y'all cornerback? Don't get me twisted. I'm going blank right now. But do you think those veterans on that team want you to throw a rookie out there and not give them a chance to win? And granted, the Browns' defensive line looks promising, even y'all depth. So you want to just go out there and just say, let's just throw a rookie out there in the fire. And technically, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I did not break down the film because like I said, it takes a lot of time to do that. It took a lot of time to prepare for the show, period. But I wasn't going to go through all that because, like I said, people don't always like and they always don't share. There's a lot of things to go through. But there was 9 plays that Shedeur ran repetitively through the whole preseason game. I think it might have been 10. You know, I heard it was 10, but I seen 9, and I maybe I missed the one. And then you got another rookie in Dylan Gabriel that actually runs the playbook, motions, the call, the slime protection, motion in the offense. It's opened up to him. So he's actually running a more complicated. He's running the same schemes, particular, but it's more complicated because there's the dress on the motions, the check and see what are they in zone, or they in man, or if you are seeing zone, what guy got to hit now? Oh, he should be here. He shouldn't be there. Like it's totally different. But listen, that's why I played before. Shedeur Sanders told us he's not oblivious to the things he needs to learn, but he's looking at it like it's just time to prepare the food. He's marinating it right now, but when he gets out there, he's going to cook. But he's not oblivious to everything he needs to learn. But for some reason, we are. Anyway, and I think I'm going to be done with this up until the season really starts. Kenny Pickett is not that bad. I think I you know what I mean? It's in Pittsburgh. We're impatient. We were very impatient with him. We didn't really like the crybabiness. We got spoiled with a very tough quarterback and a follow behind Ben. You had to be something similar. But even to say that he hasn't proved himself in this league is crazy. He got some experience. They want to win. They just don't want to go out there and lose, right? They just don't want to go out there and lose to get another good first round pick. That's not what they're doing. Especially with those veterans, like y'all almost lost Myles Garrett because of losing in the way that they were looking. You think that's what he want to do? He said that's DC Carson said that's not bad. Certainly not bad enough for folks to call him trash. Yeah, I don't. He's Kenny Pickett's not trash. Kenny Pickett was just something that he did not fit Pittsburgh. He just wasn't our guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think he may fit in that Kevin Stefanski system well. I think he may fit in that system very well. I think that system it may work out very good for Pickett. But then you got to be singing a whole different tune. He understands the NFL defenses. He's seen more on the field. Like, got to keep him around. This don't make sense for him to be the odd man out and to keep in 2 rookies. So when that time comes, it'll come. But whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just study these things. I don't take time out of my day to sit down, research, and look into these things, and even try to bring receipts. So what I'll do now is I'll go up into the video of I'll remove that and I'll go up into back to the video with Eric Dickerson. I'm sorry, excuse me, with Eric Dickerson. I'll go back up into those, finish that out for y'all. So we'll finish that out and then we'll add the comments on that. So we'll move on to the Eric Dickerson comments. I'm about to play those for y'all right now. All right, get that played. Now, this is what Eric Dickerson had to say. I'm sure a lot of y'all heard this, but there's 2 parts, and then I'll give my commentary afterwards.
That the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source, And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
really?
Him. Yep. Draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him. They were forced into drafting him because somebody made a call to them, said, you know, and I said, when I say this is a NFL side source for sure, you know, so this somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
really?
Him. Yep. Draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him. They were forced into drafting drafting him because somebody made a call to them, said, you know,
Mhm.
and I said, when I say this is a NFL side source for sure, you know, so this is not hearsay. Look, one thing about it is, and I'll just say it, you know, they don't like when guys have brands, especially black players, you know, and that's mostly us with the brand, you know, we kind of, some guys are flashy and all that kind of stuff. They don't like that. They don't like that. This kid, Fred, I don't think you knew this. He had already made $17 million from a car deal that he already signed. A car deal. He had $17 million already for that. Then he had another 14, I think, from a was it a shoe, Nike or some shoe deal. So he was good with money wise, but I know he wants to play in the National Football League for sure.
So how does he do that? I mean, Cleveland picked him. I find it fascinating, Eric. You're saying somebody even called the Browns and said, don't do that.
Yeah, somebody called the Browns and said.
So
Don't do
what
that.
was the objective? He doesn't get picked. He's an undrafted free agent.
That's exactly what's going to happen. They were going to have him, he was not going to get drafted to basically show you this is what happens when you do this. I mean, look, you know, Fred, the NFL got all kind of power. They do all kind of stuff. You know, you know that, and I know it too.
So this is what we're going to show you when you do this, right? He wouldn't give up the source. But if I recall, there was a source that came out, a Giants insider. He got on Twitter and let the whole world see it. It wound up going viral, but it went over a lot of people's heads and whatever about Shedeur Sanders' video with the Giants and what's behind that. The Browns and the Sanders family supposedly had said, you know, allegedly said that they would sue if they release the film of him on a whiteboard, whatever. That's in the past. We ain't gonna get all up into all that stuff. But this is what he said. This is what Eric Dickerson, an NFL legend, has come out and said and poisoned people's ears with, right? So now the NFL colluded against Shedeur Sanders, right? Now let's point out some things, right? Because I want him to win, but I'm out here to try to educate some people upon some things, right? That's just what it is. Like I don't claim to know everything. I'm not a know-it-all. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And I don't want to be that. But I must say to y'all, like, we can't feed into stuff like this because he played in the NFL or they played in the NFL. They say crazy things, bro. Crazy things. Anyway, we all do. They're people at the end of the day. So they colluded against a guy who allegedly didn't do that well on the whiteboard with the Giants. We don't know that. We'll never know. That allegedly we know it wasn't allegedly. We know he did not participate in the Senior Bowl game at all. Right? That didn't happen. He did not throw at the combine. He did not run at the combine. He did not participate in the combine. He did his pro day, but the combine helps. It shows that you're willing to work for other. How bad did you really want to go to the NFL? Now, getting his name alone was going to get him the buzz, but not participating after the fact. Your father had came out and said that the Cleveland Browns and some other organizations, he's not going to certain organizations. By the way, that's the receipt I should have pulled up with him saying that. But we all know that what Coach Prime had said and came out and said. Now, granted, is there any that I think there was any super thing wrong with that? But it was the timing of it. And then after those comments was said, now you acting like you don't want to participate in the combine. After that, and they colluded because he's black and he got a shoe deal and he got NIL deals. That's crazy. Makes no sense, y'all. Come on now. Like, I mean, we cannot. What up, y'all? We cannot. There's no way we cannot feed into that rhetoric. That's just crazy. There's absolutely no reason why you should feed into that. That's absolutely not the truth. That is not the truth at all. No way, shape, or form is that the truth. And that's exactly why. And everything He's getting his shots. He was drafted in the 5th round, and I believe, honestly, if he didn't get picked in the 5th round, because think about it, right? The draft is, to me, it's like playing chess with the organizations too. So I think certain people would draft people to keep people from other teams, right? Pittsburgh needed a quarterback. We were interested in Shedeur Sanders. He did take a visit there. Him and Mike Tomlin hit it off, right? So with the Browns' last pick in the draft, after they already took a quarterback a round before they take Shedeur Sanders, right after that 5th round pick, we go ahead and we draft Will Howard, which, and to be honest, Browns were looking at Dillon Gabriel and Will Howard. Those were the two guys that the Browns were keeping their eye on. Stefanski liked Gabriel a little bit better than Howard, but he was looking at that. But if I want to play with the Steelers, and we knew Aaron Rodgers was coming, there. But I think the plan was, and it folded up a little bit, but I think we would have took Shedeur Sanders with that pick and sat him behind Aaron Rodgers, right? And I think that, but the Browns and then look, they just said, we're taking him. And y'all seen the faces of the guys. They're like, what's going on? Why are we doing this? But that's just me. And I'm being honest right now. I'm speculating on that particular thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know for a fact that we would have took him, but my guess is I think we would have took him. Yes, I do think so. We didn't take him early. We needed to fill other positions. There was other positions that was more in importance, and we knew we had a bridge quarterback like Aaron Rodgers coming, right? So to draft a quarterback in the 1st round and to miss out on a defensive lineman, which we need to help stop the run, was more important than a quarterback position, especially when you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers coming in. So then we knew Najee Harris's contract was coming up. We probably weren't going to keep him because of Jalen Warren. So then we go running back with the 3rd round. We traded our 2nd round away to the Seattle Seahawks for DK Metcalf, and then we picked up his contract. So we had that covered. Then we had the running back covered with Caleb Johnson. Then in the 4th round, we went ahead again, and we said, okay, now we got another steal with Jack Sawyer. We need to shore up this defensive line to help with the defensive line, the running, right? Then in the 5th round, I think that's when we go again. If I'm not mistaken, it was Wyatt Black. Boom. That was Wyatt Black. We like, okay, we'll take Wyatt Black. But I think that would have been Shedeur. I honestly think that would have been Shedeur. Will Howard would have been Shedeur. We got Will Howard. I think we stumbled upon a good quarterback. I really do. Either one of them would have been good, but I think the Browns were trying to play keep away. That's just me and what I think. You know what I mean? Because we all know that he was there. What up, Cliff? What's going on with you, man? What's going on, Kate? What's up, KMS? What's up, Cliff? So that's just me and what I thought about what was going on with that whole thing.